Hi there. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the influences of marketing, but more specifically focusing on consumer laws. Now, firstly, we'll start with the Australian Consumer Law, the ACL. Now, this was introduced in 2011, and it replaced 17 already existing national, state and territory laws. Okay, now it was implemented by the Competition and Consumer Act of 2010. That's a Commonwealth law, that's why it says CWLTH there. And it's applied and enforced by each state and territory as law, okay? And it replaces the Trade Practices Act. So this Competition and Consumer Act of 2010 Commonwealth, as I said, it was formerly called the Trade Practices Act of 1974, which was also a Commonwealth law. And this act has two major purposes, okay? The first one is to protect consumers against undesirable practices, such as misrepresenting the contents of products, where they're made, and it stops any misleading and deceptive advertising. Okay, and it also regulates certain trade practices that restrict competition among businesses. So it tries to stop collusion, stop price fixing, stop making it so hard for some businesses to enter industries or enter markets. And any breaches could result in potential civil or criminal actions. There's fines for both individuals and companies, and also on the spot notices and fines as well. So, what sort of laws are we looking at here? So, let's look at some consumer laws and specific marketing practices. So, firstly, within the sphere of deceptive and misleading advertising, there's the issue of fine print. Now, this is when important conditions are written in a small-sized font and really, really hard to read. If this is done on television, they'll be at the bottom of the screen, and due to the nature of a lot of TVs, that font is going to be extremely blurry anyway, so you can't read it even if you were to pause the screen and really look hard. However, the business is relieved of it because they say, well, we wrote it there. The information's there for you. You just have to read it. It also looks at before and after advertisements. So this really misleads consumers because the before photo, the before image, could be distorted and made to look worse. And the after image could be enhanced. So there could be an element of Photoshop where it shows the before image is, this could be, face cream or acne cream or something. Where the before image is, it's Photoshopped to make it look even worse than it is. And the after image is Photoshopped to make it look better than what the result could be. Tests and surveys as well. Now, some ads make unsubstantiated claims. For example, 9 out of 10 people recommend something. However, the survey may never have actually been conducted in the first place. Issues with country of origin as well. It's very important to have accurate labels. So, for example, made in Australia and product of Australia have two really distinct meanings. However, people see those two and think that they're both the same. However, if something is to be a product of Australia, it means it's grown, processed, and packaged here. Made in Australia simply means that it's processed here, and it could use imported ingredients or imported raw materials. We've also got issues of packaging, where the size and shape of a package may give a misleading impression of the contents. A very large box, and then you open it up, and the actual product itself is quite small. Special offers as well. Ads may be misleading or deceptive if they imply that there's a special offer only for a limited period. However, it then comes to light that offer is actually always available. For example, you might say, come in and buy this TV. It's going to be on sale, but only until the end of the month. However, it's actually always at that price every month of the year. The bait and switch. This involves advertising a few products at a reduced price. So therefore, it's really enticing. People are going to go in there. But then when those advertised products run out, because there might be a limit of how many they actually have in the first place, consumers are then directed to a higher priced item. So you might go in for a TV, find that they're sold out, and the sales assistant might say, well, you know what? This TV is similar. It's, $1,000 extra, and they try and push you to buy that more expensive one. and also dishonest advertising. So ads really they shouldn't use words that are deceptive or claim that a product has some specific quality when in fact it actually doesn't. Okay. Now such actions show that it gives a false impression of the exact nature of the product. Other issues that consumer laws try to deal with are price discrimination. So this is setting different prices for separate markets. And they do this different prices because the markets are geographically separated. So city prices and country prices, or Australian prices and, American prices. There's also a product differentiation within the same market. So there might be electricity prices for domestic use and electricity prices for business use. Okay, that's still a form of price discrimination. We've also got the issue of implied conditions, consumer guarantees. Now, implied conditions, as the word says, it's implied. They're unspoken and unwritten terms of a contract. Now, they're assumed to exist regardless if they're actually specifically mentioned or written in a contract. Okay? Now, the most important implied term relating to customer purchases refers to acceptable quality. Okay? Now, acceptable quality really comes down to the individual product and the consumer as well. However, a product is of acceptable quality if it's fit for purpose, okay, for which it's being sold, meaning that it actually does what it says it's going to do. It's acceptable in appearance and finish, so that there's no jagged edges, or it's not only a table's not only half sanded and half painted. It's free from defects, it's safe, and it's durable. Okay, that means if it ticks all those, then it's acceptable quality. And then we've also got warranties. Now, this is the promise by a business to repair or replace faulty products. Okay, now a business is required by law to offer a refund if the products are faulty, if the products don't match the description or a sample, or fail to do the job they were supposed to do. Okay? There's no obligation to give you a refund if the customer simply changes their mind, or if you find the product cheaper somewhere else and you just want to, return it and then buy it somewhere else cheaper, or if you've damaged the product yourself after the purchase was made. Okay? It's also important to note here that signs such as no refunds given or no exchange or refund on sales items are actually meaningless and they're against the law. Okay? Refunds and exchanges must be given as long as, for example, you haven't just changed your mind. Or if you haven't, damaged it yourself. Okay? So while a blanket rule saying no refunds given is illegal, the refunds, the sign probably is better to be rewritten as no refunds given on change of mind, for example. So I hope this brief video on consumer laws has been informative. The next video will look at ethical influences on marketing. Thank you.